Hi, everyone. So my the when I did the this fellowship, it was a bit earlier than the others, so my information might be a bit outdated. So rather, I'll just talk about some of the things that helped me in when I was applying. Firstly, when I was applying, the thing is, the Marie Curie is one of the fellowships. It's the in terms of criteria, it is the least stringent but the most competitive in the European fellowships. But there are other fellowships which are quite close to the Marie Curie fellowships, which are offered by every single European state. So for instance, Netherlands has the NWO, Belgium has FWOs, Germany has Humboldt, and these have slightly different cutoffs where they are 3 years after your PhD. So this is one thing I would like suggest everyone to keep an eye out for, is when they finish their PhD, when they apply for the fellowship. So in Europe, especially, everything works. The time starts the moment you start, you get your PhD awarded. So later on, if you do intend to start a lab, the ERC starter funding, which is a very competitive but superb funding opportunity, that has a cutoff of 7 years after your PhD. Please correct me, someone, if I'm wrong. So these are things. So time is an important thing. So while Marie Curie, like it was mentioned earlier, it's 8 years. There are other fellowships, the whole national ones, which are 3 years. So you should look out for them. They're slightly less, stringent, or less competitive, but they actually offer you more time and sometimes almost the same number of benefits as the Marie Curie. So you can shop around for multiple fellowships. Two is the transfer that a few other people in the panel have talked about. This is a very important thing. So when I did my PhD, it was in a technology sort of development sort of thing. And my proposal was to apply this technology to a complex problem. And the lab I was joining in Belgium was an expert in that problem. So it was basically me saying, I'm going to bring this technology, which they don't have, and I'm going to do it there using their their system. So I'm taking my tool to look at their system. And that I also sort of built it up like, and I think Jayashree spoke about it being ambitious, where I said that I'm going to establish this technology in Belgium. That sort of, I use those sort of words, which are obviously extremely ambitious and probably not possible, but nonetheless, it worked, because in the reviewer comments, one of the things was, yes, this would be a great thing for Belgium to have this sort of technology to come in. So that is also, you can play that aspect up, just have a little bit of confidence in yourself. The third thing I wanted to talk about was the host. Like the other panel members have mentioned, host support is excellent. If you find a host who would be willing to support you for 6 months to a year especially, that would be great, because then you can actually focus on getting 2 shots at the pie, like a couple of my panel members have talked about. When I say 2 shots of the pie, you also have to remember you cannot have lived in the state for, so the mobility rule kicks in at 12 months. So you cannot have been in the country for 12 months. You cannot have been a resident of the country for 12 months from the date of the deadline. So I think that's in September. So look at joining the lab by October, so that you can apply once just before joining and then apply again in September the next year. So you can have 2 shots of the pie at the Marie Curie and have multiple other applications along the way, because usually most of the European fellowships have a similar application format, so you can chop and change, cut it, paste, put it in different places. Only the length changes or the impact statement changes. So the proposal can be sort of reworked for different fellowships. That would be my 3 key points that I could suggest. I'll just make a small point about the Seal of Excellence. So I think Belgium definitely I know. If you do get Seal of Excellence, you automatically get the state FWO funding. So you automatically get it. So and that gives you the same money as the Marie Curie fellowships. It gives you the same mobility allowance. Belgium also gives you a bench fee of around 12,000 euros. So yeah. So the Seal of Excellence is something that if you get to it, almost there are a few European national fellowships which will, automatically give you a full-time, a postdoctoral fellowship. And
I didn't know that. So, Srinath, can I just ask you like this? You don't have to be applying to a host institution in Germany for this, or do you have to have this? I mean, if there is a host institution in Belgium, then only will you be awarded this
So
grant.
you would have to go through the Marie Curie fellowship process.
Right.
So what happened is, if I can talk a little bit about what happened earlier, was the national fellowship had its deadline somewhere in February. Marie Curie was happening in June, but now I think they consolidated it where they're all happening around the same time, so that people are not sending multiple fellowships here and there. And also, so the Marie Curie fellowships criteria and the evaluation is obviously the best in Europe. So the national fellowships are basically piggybacking on that. If you've already cleared 85% in the Marie Curie fellowship, then you're obviously going to get a really high ranking in the national fellowships. So they just say, okay, if you're done, we're giving you the same thing.
Oh, okay. Wow, I did not know that. That's
Yeah, I
good
think
to
I had, yeah.
this
I had a
is
friend
important
just
point.
automatically. He didn't even send
Yeah.
the application.
Oh,
They just,
really?
yeah, they sent him an email. The national fellowship said, we see you're on waitlist 10 with a mark of 89, 90% or something. Would you like to take the FW's Marie Curie Seal of Excellence Fellowship? He replied saying, yes, thank you. That's it.